Hello, listeners. Welcome to our summer series spectacular. If you're fans of any of these podcasts, then you know we've been releasing some special episodes over on our Patreon. And unfortunately, we have not gotten the response that we had hoped. So we have discontinued our Patreons for now, but would like these episodes to be enjoyed by a larger audience. I want to start by apologizing to the people who did pay a few dollars to get these exclusive episodes when they were exclusive. Your generosity and support is still very appreciated, and hopefully in the future we will offer some more exclusive episodes over there and see if we can't get a few more supporters to join you over on that special feed. But until then, we're going to be releasing these special episodes right here, right now, and all summer long. On the Time Pop feed, we have some what we call time travel-ish movies, things that are kind of, maybe time-altering, mind-bending, reality fuckery kinds of movies that I think you will enjoy on this main feed, even if they don't fall directly into our time travel purview. I may or may not have used that word properly. Whatever. For our Thank the Light audience, because there's only so much Wheel of Time content out there. Over there on the Patreon, we were experimenting with some other fantasy movies. So hopefully you're just a fan of Justin, Jeremy, and Desmond talking about stuff. So we're going to have some fantasy film discussions on the Thank the Light feed. And on the Movies Are Us feed, apologies. We're going to take a little bit of a break from official Movies Are Us releases just because we got really busy. We knew this summer was going to be a little bit busy. We were doing our best to get caught up, and Desmond is moving. Justin is probably going to be moving, and Jeremy doesn't want to do the podcast by himself. So we're going to, again, hopefully you're just fans of us and what we talk about. And even if it is not an official toy-related product, hopefully you will enjoy us talking about some fantasy movies over there as well, just because our voices are beautiful. I hope you enjoy these special episodes. If you're only subscribing to Time Pop, why don't you subscribe to Movies Are Us and or Thank the Light so you can get some other exclusive movie content. If you just like to hear us talking about films, it's going to be a great summer. We will definitely be back with new content. We have some very exciting things we're going to put into motion for Thank the Light. Movies Are Us is just going to be back in full effect later this summer. We're liking what we're doing over there. We have a lot of fun movies to talk about. And if you're a Time Pop fan and you like listening to Scott and I just talk about weird, mind-bending movies, let us know at timepoppod@gmail.com. That is timepoppod@gmail.com. If you're enjoying this, us expanding our definition of time pop movies, and we may put more of these types of movies on this feed in the future. If you're a Movies Are Us fan, just let us know when we get back to our official Movies Are Us. Let us know some movies you want us to move to the top of our list. That is moviesreuspod@gmail.com. That is moviesreuspod@gmail.com. And if you're a Thank the Light fan, Wheel of Time fan, as you know, the show is getting put off. So we're trying to figure out the best way to discuss the books. Again, we've got some exciting things that we're going to do there to try to hype up those book discussions as we wait for more Wheel of Time episodes to get back to Amazon Prime. And if you enjoy listening to us talk about fantasy movies, maybe we can squeeze one of these in here and there just to spice it up as we wait for Rafe Judikins to get those episodes out to us. And whatever feed you're listening to, send us a message. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, because these shows are nothing without you. So if, we're not going to listen to all your suggestions, but if you want to sheepdog us in a direction that makes us more fun to listen to and maybe bring more people into the fold, we would love to hear from you. thankthelight@gmail.com, timepoppod@gmail.com, moviesreuspod@gmail.com. That is movies, the letter R, us, pod @gmail.com. Enjoy.
What you want, what you wanna see. Know I'm what you like, I'm your fantasy. Keep it real tight like you wanna be. Sounding real nice like a melody, yeah, 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 yeah. We could dance around like the leaves in the trees. Know I'm what you like, I'm your fantasy. Keep it real tight like you want to be.
Happy birthday, Fatty.
Yes, sir.
How's it feeling? Did you chill? Did you actually relax?
I took the Monday off before, and we just went and got some steaks and hung out, drank some wine, and relaxed. It was kind of sunny that day, so
Beautiful.
and then Tuesday just kind of late leftovers and watched some movies.
Well, Kelly says hi. She's in Seattle right now.
Oh, right.
Thank you, loyal patrons. We do this for you. This one is for you. This one I did. Maybe it's for Jeremy.
Definitely not for us.
Maybe it's for Jeremy. I don't know. We're going to find out in a minute. But we did Dune 1984, PG-13, 2 hours and 17 minutes from the illustrious David Lynch, starring Kyle MacLachlan, Virginia Madsen, McLachlan. His name is Kyle MacLachlan.
The chick that plays Ray Finkel.
Sting, yes, Ray Finkel, Sting, and Patrick Stewart.
Finkel and Einhorn.
Sean.
Finkel and Einhorn, 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 Finkel, Einhorn, Finkel, Finkel.
Sean Young.
Sean Young.
Sean Young, thank you.
That's right.
That is a hot dude.
Oh, she's a gorgeous dude.
The laces were in. Oh, wait. I will be your Sandy Eye Sedai tonight.
I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets in everything. I heard somebody say that once.
Especially in my bottle.
Annie, come home, Annie, there's a sandstorm, Annie. So we need to cut Jeremy loose here soon. Jeremy's on a timetable, and so we need to just let him go for a minute, but I will just start just to give Jeremy more to react to. I just watched this movie in its entirety for the first time yesterday.
What?
I am a child of the 80s. I am a 47-year-old man. I grew up with HBO. Very aware of this movie. Seen 90% of it in pieces. Yesterday was the first time I sat down and watched Dune 1984.
And you are a better man for it. Do you guys
Trigger warning, I wanted to stab my eyes out.
Did you guys, whenever you hear the name Duncan, Idaho, do you think of the song by the B-52s, You're Living in My Own Duncan, Idaho? You're living in your own Duncan, Idaho.
What?
You're living in your own private Idaho, living in your own private Idaho.
Underground like a wild potato.
Don't go on the patio.
I did not know that song. I thought you were going to go Duncan Hines. I'm fat. I was thinking cookies. So shit, Jeremy, you making a cake?
Speaking of cookies, I had to watch Corky Romano to get the taste of this movie out of my mouth.
Wow. You're like, that tasted terrible. I'm going to switch with some turpentine.
Hated it as much as I did because I had a hard time finishing this movie, and I'm pretty easy going, especially if I'm playing video games. I'm mad.
Jeremy, tell me why Dune is better than My Science Project.
Oh, God. Well, I don't know that it is. I'll be honest with you. So my science project, I watched probably 5 times. It was one of those movies. Again, we had just around the house. It was one of our 7 or 8 movies. And I would watch that. Yeah, all the time. I thought it was great.
I can't remember that one. My Science Project.
The kid finds like a time machine from an Aliens, right? Was it from Aliens?
Imagine if an alien watched Weird Science, Back to the Future, Meatballs 2, and what was the
and Time Bandits.
And Time Bandits. It was like, I get it. I got it. Oh, and Teen Wolf.
And a little bit of Jurassic Park thrown in, if I remember correctly.
A little bit of Jurassic Park, and they're just like, I get movies.
Oh, wow.
I can
Okay.
do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little Land of the Lost vibes, maybe.
Get me that hunk from Top Gun. I got this.
I was thinking it was John Cryer that's in it as the sidekick. It was Fisher Stevens.
Oh, and John Stock. Yeah, Fisher Stevens and Fisher Stevens. Is there a more problematic actor of our day?
I love Fisher Stevens. What are you talking about?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know anything he's done.
He's always playing a nationality that he's not.
Wasn't he just playing a white guy in this?
No.
Like a greaser?
He was Italian Bronx. He might actually be Italian, but then in Short Circuit, he's Indian.
Oh no, yeah.
And then
Oh, okay. Okay. I know you're talking about.
He was in one of the greatest movies ever made, playing himself like a white guy. It was called Hackers, and he was amazing in it.
Yes.
And it's a movie that we have to do.
It's another movie I've never seen.
He is one of those dudes, like, usually when you see a young actor, you're like, oh, yeah, I can see how he grew up in it. Like, if I found out that someone killed Fisher Stevens and stole his identity, I'd believe it. Because, like, I watch him on...
It was John Cryer.
I watch him on Lost, and I watch him on My Science Project. I'm like, there's no way that's the same guy. There's just no way.
Wow. All right.
Wow. Yeah. So it's funny, this movie, I remember I was like, when this movie came out, I was 7. And I remember sitting in a pizza restaurant. And this guy was my dad's friend, is sitting there trying to explain this movie to my dad. And I'm just enraptured. I'm like, he's like, yeah, they wheel this giant thing out. And
Dude,
it's
I
in
couldn't
this
think
glass.
of something that your father would be less interested in.
Exactly. My dad would just
I
be
mean,
like,
my dad probably too, but like my dad maybe slightly, like your dad would just be like, if your dad cursed, he'd be like, you need to shut the fuck up.
my dad is not a a big science fiction guy.
No, he's not.
I can't think of.
Does your dad like Westerns?
No, he likes I would say more like gritty detective shows.
Rom-coms, mostly. I get it.
Well, he loved, growing up, he liked Taxi. He used to watch Taxi. He loved that. And then Miami Vice. He watched Miami Vice all the time. And,
Really?
Oh, yeah, I
Dad's a
love
big
Miami
Vice
Vice.
guy. That's fantastic.
But what was the cop show? Hill Street Blues. He loved Hill Street Blues. Right? So that's my dad.
That's not the first Hill Street Blues reference we've had on this show.
Is it really? Really?
No,
Okay.
it's not. It is not. I've like made a joke like Heat of the Night, Hill Street Blues. Like,
Okay. Okay. Cop Rock, all the greats.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
So that was my introduction to this movie. And I probably didn't see it for 10 years after that. I was probably like a teenager when I first watched it.
Did you read it first?
No, I think I saw the movie first, but I could be wrong about that. Because I don't think I read the books until I was like in my 30s. So I think I saw this like when I was like teenager, early 20s.
Really? So you saw this first, then read it, and did you
Yeah.
like the movie then?
I wouldn't know. So the movie is not good, but I was intrigued by it, right? Like I knew that it was one of those things where you knew that there was a lot more lore that got left out. And so I was kind of like, oh, okay, I want to know what this is all about.
Sort of like a Wheel of Time show.
No.
A really shitty show of a great
total opposite
great story. I hate it.
Exactly. You know what? Yes, you're right. You know, it's funny, Justin. I started thinking about this too. So what ends up happening in the books as the books go along is the Fremen kind of get out of control and they go throughout and just start conquering.
And the Fremen are the people that he end up with in the desert, right? Okay. At first I thought it was the little lady, and then I realized that she was kind of like their inside.
She's just one of all, yeah, one of
inside little person. Yeah.
So he becomes like a religious figure to them, and then they kind of just go out and start conquering. And they just kill billions of people. It's a
he becomes almost like really? It's dark.
Yeah.
Darker.
Okay. Yeah. So he kind of.
I mean, it's not just a fun worm ride through the desert in the
not
dark.
a fun worm ride. It's not.
Bummer, man.
No, it gets kind of weird. And these books are real weird too. They just throw you into the middle without any explanation, right? So they'll talk about like the Landsraad. What's the Landsraad? I don't know. You got to figure it out. The Landsraad is the ruling class, basically. So that's like the houses, the great houses, which we would call the great houses from Wheel of Time. So it's the Harkonnens, it's the Emperor's house, the Shaddam house, or whatever it's called, and it's Atreides.
Are those houses on all the planets, or are they constricted to one planet?
I think they're pretty much constricted. That's not the word. Consigned to one planet. Confined. There we go. There's a word.
I co-sign that.
Yeah.
I do good English.
Yeah. So they're kind of confined to one planet. But what was I talking about? Oh, so what I started thinking about was this is what would happen. This is what would have happened if Rand and Aviendha got together. Like the Aiel he would have like become a god to them. She would have been like, yeah, let's just go conquer everybody.
Yeah, let's just kill everybody.
And then it would have probably gotten out of control, and he would have lost control of them. It's literally what would have happened at the Wheel of Time.
If Rand was addicted to heroin, crack,
The spice.
worm shit,
The spice gives life.
right? Worm shit? Is it worm shit?
It is. It totally is. You don't find that out in this movie, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying because, like, okay, spice mines of Kessel, not the same.
So no, but that is totally a nod to these books. Yeah.
Yeah. George Lucas read the fuck out of Dune.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I kind of figured it.
Yeah, he totally did. So I really got into these books. I read them. I didn't finish all of them, I don't think. But I watched this movie, and I like it. I like the idea of this movie, and the idea I think that David Lynch had, right? Like you look at the costumes and you look at the
Desert is smirking. Mhm.
the costumes, you look at like the background.
Like some other things we know.
So the ships, like just look when they're loading the ships when they're leaving Caladan to go to Arrakis, I thought that was cool. And it's a giant like door with like, you know, glyphs around the outside of it and everything like that. It's almost like Egyptian looking. I like that. That was kind of cool.
We're gonna get into that.
There's also a lot of just stuff that in reading some of the, you know, behind the scenes he wanted to expand on, and they're like, well, that would be like a 3-hour movie. This movie's gonna be 2 hours and like 10 minutes.
And no sequels.
And well, they wanted to do sequels, but
well, they didn't want to do sequels.
They
They wanted to do more. If they wanted to do a real sequel, they would have cut this down.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're going to do a finished product, and then we'll do another finished product.
Well,
from all the money we make from this.
That's true.
I don't know that that's what they meant to do, but they had enough footage to make 2 movies.
You got to imagine that they cut so much.
I don't know that they did. They might have just cut it from the.
David Lynch is weird like that, dude. He'd just be like, no.
Well, but I think they might have cut it from the script and never filmed any of it.
Oh, you're right.
Like,
yeah.
not like we filmed it and then threw it away. It's just like, nah, I'm getting rid of it. Oh, we can't do it. I'm not doing any of it.
So if you like the idea of Dune, have you seen Jodorowsky's Dune?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Is that the new one?
Well,
no,
it's just a documentary. It's a documentary
about. I think I saw that actually.
Yeah, basically before Lynch did it, basically this guy, it would be like if Lynch was like, this is how I want to do these movies, and they said no, and so Lynch said, fuck off. That's what Jodorowsky's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it right. And they're like, oh, well, then you're not going to do it.
He had pretty much lined up Pink Floyd to do the music.
That would have been fucking dope.
Pink Floyd was going to do the music. H.R. Giger was going to do some of the backgrounds and stuff. And there was a couple other artists that were going to do it. Salvador Dali was going to help.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Toto and Brian Eno are a good second choice.
You know, it's funny.
I mean, Brian Eno's a badass, and Toto's not terrible.
Well, I really like their Columbia, desert wear. They're great.
Do you know who the lead singer of Toto? You know who his dad is?
I'll know when you tell me, but I can't.
His dad is John Williams.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Like Star Wars John Williams? Like that John Williams?
Star Wars John Williams.
I don't know any other John Williams, but I mean, Jesus.
It's funny. So back in
Jonathan Will.i.am.
The apple does fall far from the tree.
Toto's a great band. Okay, they have some pretty great.
You're right.
Come on.
They're not Pink Floyd, but Toto's.
No.
Bro, I love everything shitty 80s. You don't have to convince me.
Exactly.
It's good to see that, like white status symbols are the same even in the future, English bulldogs for the royal people,
So before I just need to make sure and squeeze a few things. And if Justin and I won't shut up, you can just
you
go black. Like if it's, I just want to say, like, just, I don't really have a question, but I just, as the person who's read the books and a person who reads a lot of books, this is textbook how to not write a fucking screenplay from a book.
Yes.
Like, this is you can't do this much subtext in a movie. Like, you have to let the actors act these things out and not put the so-and-so was thinking about killing that person.
Yeah, that was okay. So that was a question I had. Is that something, because I know some of them, especially with the spice, there's like a kind of like a telepathy type of thing almost, right? Or no, is there just inner monologues?
A little bit, but it's
just inner monologue then.
It's like if you're reading a book and writing a screenplay, and then you put quotes around what he's thinking, and instead of
lashed out with the power. I lashed out with the power.
Letting the actor act out that emotion and let the viewer do a little bit of the work.
Yeah, it's like the huge expedition dumps that just like explain everything to you. You're like, oh.
So you guys haven't seen the new Dune at all?
I have.
No. This is the first time I've ever seen anything Dune.
and I love it. I'm bummed I haven't seen the second one yet. But honestly, I would have had the same question as Justin about the Fremen if I hadn't watched the new Dune.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, okay,
they're
see.
not really in it that much.
I kind of had it dialed in, but I wasn't sure if it was, are they a race of people? Or are they like a group of like a religion or what? Like you said, kind of almost like the IEO, like they're like warrior monks or something.
And this movie, honestly, any chance I ever gave this movie as a kid, because I knew I should like it. Any chance I ever gave this movie, it grossed me the fuck out.
It's kind of gross.
It's fucking disgusting.
Dude, this movie is gross. It's so David Lynch. It's like he tries to make like really weird stuff like sultry or something and sexy. And it's like, quit it, man. That dude with the boils. What was that guy's problem? What is it? Is it because he has too much spice? What's wrong with his face?
No, you'd have to read into the backstory. I wouldn't go. Hey, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it's like,
and Jeremy, who's the aquarium vagina guy that's out of his face?
Those are the navigators, the guild navigators. They like live in spice or spice dust or whatever. And so it like mutates them. That's all.
Are they the same things that we see floating, like when there's folding space?
Yeah.
Those are them?
Yeah, that's them.
So they can live in the vacuum of space.
I don't know that that's what's going on. I think that maybe it might be like a part of the ship and they're using it like directing because the ships are gigantic. I mean,
yeah,
you saw all the other ships that were going inside of that ship, and I mean they're supposed to be like miles long, like really
that
big.
Was the one cool thing about this for the 80s. Like you see the ship landing on a planet and you're like, oh, it's a pretty big ship, and then we see people getting out of that ship. Oh, Justin, I was worried about losing Jeremy. Justin's gone, and like all you could see is a couple little landing pads around this ship as people walked out of it. I was like, that's pretty cool that they pulled that out.
Yeah. It's so funny. What we were talking about. Oh, like grossness.
Oh.
That part where he spits and then it like dude, I was like, I can't stand that in real life. Like, gross.
Yeah.
Gross. Like, why would you put that in a movie? Like, ugh.
Yeah. Of all the things that you're like cutting around the book.
Right? Why?
Like, why is it like, keep everything disgusting, please, and we'll cut this other shit out. It was the fucking, and as soon as you see a floating head in a movie, you're screwed.
Right.
Like you don't write that into a movie. That's okay, we have to cut the first half hour of this movie. Let's catch everybody up.
I was thinking, Des, can you think of another movie where they did the exposition as talking in your head like that? With the whispering, I can't think of another movie where they did that, right?
I can't. I can't. And if you did, it would have to be like a major, like I could see doing it, but like it would have to lead to the mystery somehow. Like somehow, like it would have to be like an unreliable narrator, and so like we find out that we're not actually hearing what they're thinking. We're hearing, or something like that. But this just screams of a, because it was just David Lynch who wrote the screenplay.
Oh, really?
He's the only one that got credited. It's the 80s, so
he probably had 10 people, but then he only got credit.
Yeah, people who punched it up didn't get a credit back then.
They got no money.
But it kind of screams of someone who just kind of went through the book and was just like going straight from it. And like I said, just not, he's still a young director. And for some reason he thinks that because all this inner dialogue is in the book, that like, it'll make the movie cool if we know what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Or something like.
It was weird. Like, it's, you do realize that it is pretty, at least at the beginning, it's very true to the book because it follows the second movie as well, the Dune 2021. So if you watch the beginning there's a lot of crossover. Denis Villeneuve didn't care about like copying same scenes, just changing it, and same dialogue and everything. The whole thing with Gurney Halleck when they fight.
Yeah.
One's Josh Brolin, the other one's Captain Picard, but it's still the same scene with just different people and different, way better graphics and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna take off. Enjoy the movie. Get Justin back. Yeah,
we'll get Justin back in here in a minute. Thanks for coming on. And are you gonna have a fun bachelor time? Like, are you looking forward to being a dude?
I'm just gonna sit around in my underwear all the time and watch TV, whatever I want.
Fuck.
But I do that every time, anyway, all the time, anyways.
I know. I told Cormac, I'm like, we're gonna have a little vacation ourselves. Like, just we're just gonna order some pizza and play some game. I clean a lot too, though. That's my thing. I love cleaning with an empty house.
Oh, that is nice.
I don't want to talk about like, should we keep this? Shouldn't we keep this? I love just sweeping it up.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. I'll take credit
and I bet
for it.
you won't even care that it's gone. You won't even know it's there.
This would be a 12-minute conversation if you were here.
Yep.
But you'll never ask about it.
There's going to be a lot of that going on, like a little bit of a rearranging and stuff like that. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of that.
Nice.
So, all right, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
What happened?
He's just gone. He's done. We got our time.
No, I dropped.
I have no idea. All right, everyone out there, we had to just jump in the deep end with Jeremy. We're not going to go through this movie minute by minute, but Justin, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and Justin and I are going to regroup a little bit, and we'll kind of start a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, Des, we got some stuff that I maybe want to ask Jeremy, but I think we could probably hash it out because it's just some kind of weird stuff that I kind of like. I was like half paying attention sometimes too, but you know.
And like all these long movies we've been watching, like I did a great job the first 90 minutes, and then it was just kind of like, whew. All right, back to the top of my notes. Dune 1984. It starts with a floating head exposition, which is never a positive sign. You're never like, oh, awesome. They decided not to shoot 45 minutes of this movie, so this floating head is just, and it's not even like a disconnected floating head. It's a fucking character from the movie that we barely see. I don't know if she was supposed to be huge in the second one, but she tells us it's the year 10,191. I don't know even how to say a year that long. And things are crazy. Basically, the whole world is based on this spice, which we would know as sand. And they mine this. Actually, I guess it's not the sand because they don't just go down and scoop up the sand. They actually have to like mine for the spice deep down.
They have to get in there and they have to sift it like a kitty litter box.
So this spice is like, it's a drug. It's a lot of things, but most importantly, it is what allows for it's what powers the FTL drives.
Yeah, basically, it's like for hyperspace. It's like for traveling across the space-time continuum. Not time, just long distances.
So, and there's only one planet in the known universe where this stuff exists. It's home to killer worms, and the movie starts as there are plots for certain people to take control of all of the spice, and we're off. Oh, which I forgot. I just realized I didn't put the movie on. That's a first for me. All right, Justin. Give me your first thought while I fire up the film.
This movie was hard for me to pay attention to. I liked it. Oh man, it was just like, I'm a Star Wars guy, so it's just no. And also,
how do you live in a post Empire Strikes Back, current Return of the Jedi world, and tell everybody working on this movie, no, we can't do more than one movie. We can't do a trilogy.
That's what was weird to me, and the fact that it came out after. What did it come out after Empire too?
Like during Jedi, like they were probably working on this and Jedi at the same time. But you're still like, you've seen Star Wars, you know it led into Empire, you know Jedi's coming. Like we live in a world where you can do a space opera trilogy on a popular book. It's not like you're shooting from the hip.
Yeah, you've got a lot of, it's weird. It's like you got a lot of source material or something. I don't know how many books there were, but I know they were pretty long. Like I said, this was, it was funny because there was a lot of people in this movie that, like there was a creepy guy. He was like a creepy intern in Scrubs. The guy from Quantum Leap was in it.
Oh, yes. He's in. No, that's not John Stockwell. John.
No, his name is Dean Stockwell is his name.
Dean Stockwell. He's not the guy in
No, there's a different guy who's a creepy guy in Scrubs.
Okay, sorry.
I love dude, when they go into shield mode.
Yeah.
Do you mean full Minecraft mode?
But don't worry, the shield doesn't work if I just stab you slowly. So whatever. And did you see that they shot through it later? Like someone had slow moving bullets that went through the giant, because they're giant.
You know what it is? It's like it's a shield, but then it if you don't move fast enough, you could still get
No, but they threw it up over a building, and
Oh, that one I thought was different. It was like more of like a wall. I don't know. Dude.
but something went like it was things were bouncing off it, and then this slow moving bullet just went through it like Patrick Stewart's knife.
Makes sense. Got to slow it down, brother. Also, I know. I guess they all do it later, but he makes his own like laser. Pew! Like, what was that about? Is that?
Yeah, they developed a wet, which is a cool idea. The fact that
They explain it later, but at first I'm like, is he just making his own laser beam noise?
yeah, oh yeah, totally. Yeah. The ADR in this movie was better than my science project, but it was still it's so weird to me how many movies can do ADR well and how many movies just fuck it up all the way through. And it's just like, will you people in Hollywood just talk to each other and figure out how to do this? Jesus Christ. Why did I write? Oh, activate the fighter, the fucking like, so the beginning, of course, this movie's just chop suey. So we're just, so after the shield fight, then they make him fight this like metal robot that's gonna fucking kill you. This is not a floating, this isn't like Star Wars where you set it to stun. Like, it's like you either
these were like the first like droidica like General Grievous models.
Totally. And they have one
like what do you
setting.
call them when it's like the first one, it's like the beta model, the test,
Oh yeah, the 1.0
prototype, the prototype.
The prototype, yeah.
Like that thing in RoboCop that shredded that fucking guy.
My favorite line of the whole movie happens early on when Patrick Stewart says, "Moods are for cattle and love play."
I like when they've been apart for a while towards the end, Picard's just got like the mullet hair still bald as fuck on top, but it's like shoulder length from like the back of his head.
Dude, that 2-year jump is so unnecessary. Like, unnecessary. I'll just say it. It's just the way this movie was shot. Like, I don't know if they were planning on filming way more of that battle scene or not, but like they could have just showed one big battle and just been like, that was the war.
And I'm going to get like real buzzkilly real quick because watching this movie, I wasn't like super into it. So I started like really looking at it and I'm like, this movie seems like, I mean, obviously, I guess it's based on the book. I don't know how they're describing the book, but it seems a little anti-Islamic or Arabic or whatever, like the bad guys are the like Iraqis.
Yeah.
Iraqis. The way they're dressed are like, if you've ever seen like African forces or desert forces in like, Saudi Arabia and stuff, it's very similar to their uniforms.
Really? Okay.
The dark ones are a little Gestapo Nazi-ish.
They say jihad, which I didn't realize the word jihad.
I was gonna say, yeah, they get a nice little mention of the word jihad. I have that written down.
Yeah,
like it's the sound of music for nerds. I'm all Iraqi. I don't know. Just saying. Like what a little Dave Chappelle there.
Harkonnen, Iraqi.
Harkonnen, Iraqis. What else was like? There's like I had like several. It's kind of like the basis for their creed. Pure bloods and shit. They start talking about pure blood shit. For eyes are real blue, real blue.
Yeah. Do we get no, because they're traveling through space. I was gonna say, do we get an idea of like some kind of a breaking where everyone's kind of just trapped on their planet? They don't get around, but no, people are like traveling through space all day,
right?
Visiting each other.
Well, and the worms are just like giant moving sarlacc pits.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, I wonder if they use the same. Like I said, they were filming this and Jedi at the same time. I wonder if they talk to each other. Hey, can I borrow that? I have so Jeremy and I talked about it a little bit, and we're getting there. I just want to get your first take on the fucking grossness of this movie.
It's so gross. It's like it's very like that dude's face is disgusting.
So gross.
Like I fast forward through some of the scenes. He's just like, first of all, he's kind of screaming the whole time, and his face, and then his like, I guess are they his sons, like the fat, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I don't know. Like it was just like that guy is upsetting, and then yeah, there's a lot of grossness. Everything's just weird. It's so David Lynch. The floating assassin dildo needle thing that he has to snatch out of the air and like stab into the wall.
Oh, the hunter seeker, weird. The hunter seeker,
right?
Which he says, and of course, because we hear his fucking inner monologue. He thinks, I wonder.
That inner monologue was dumb.
He said, I wonder who's controlling this. But they also made mention that it's controlling itself because if he doesn't move, it can't see him. And if there's a human being controlling the hunter seeker,
just like a T-Rex.
Did you at least? And this is one of those things where it's like, I guess this is in the movie. Like, could David Lynch just not get a fucking babysitter for his dogs? What's with all the pugs just in this movie? Fucking Patrick Stewart takes one into war.
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, at least British royalty still has the same canines. It's a sign of you know, like esteem.
And there's straight up Jedi mind tricks in this movie. I mean, Lucas stole it from Dune. Dune was around first. I mean, I'm pretty sure
his story was way more fun.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you know, we're gonna just roll up on Mos Eisley real quick. Like, where are the Jawas? Dude, like, I'm like, you know, I don't like you either. Like, you know, where's Boba? Like, something's gonna happen. And it's like, who are these assholes? I just feel like this. I just don't like the vibe of this movie a little bit.
You don't like the weirding way?
The weirding way, but sorry.
Jeez, I have every eighth note is, oh my God, this fucking inner monologue.
Dude, the inner monologues are really annoying because it's confusing at first. You're like, is this supposed to be like? He's receiving this, or is he? I don't know. It's just like, ugh.
Hey, you know what else they had in this movie? Moisture farmers.
Exactly. I was gonna say that. I have that written down. Like, dude, like seriously. And then that like Baron is like every like prostitute John ever, just like, like gross.
For a minute, I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be ahead of its time. There's actually going to be a homosexual character. It's like, no, he's just a creep who gets off on killing people.
Yep. The two twins with like the shaved heads. There's like, I think that was you know, Fred and George Weasley got some work after Harry Potter.
You know what I just did? It was so funny to see this. I just looked up the other night because Kelly was watching Shogun. Why samurais shave the top of their head.
So their helmet can go on, right?
There you go. And I think it's to keep it cool. I don't think it's so much so it'll fit as much that if you're gonna
sweat doesn't get in their eyes, they could drip a little. They put then that's why they wear the like bandana.
Yeah,
No,
samurais rocking do rags from
dude, since
back.
Since the 1100s. I don't know,
way back.
Dude, those things are like the Jedi rebreathers too.
Oh yeah.
Like kind of not exactly the same. And you know, sorry, didn't mean to get off with those things. What is the weirding way? Is that when you pull your penis out of family functions? It's not good. What is the weirding way? You say, "My, how you've grown to your niece" or something. And you're fucked up. I don't get it, dude.
The weirding way is when your uncle starts talking about Donald Trump at the Thanksgiving dinner table.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ! Oh God.
Hey, have you seen these little smokies? You want a little smoky? They're just little. You can have 4 or 5.
Do you have to drink 14 beers? They're just fucking red stripes. What?
You know what you'll have to do, Justin, if you want to drink something? You got to milk this cat for the antidote.
That's right. Jesus Christ. Can you milk me, fucker? I've got nipples.
I was taking such good notes on this, and then like 90 minutes in, I was just like, I either have to write all the notes or no notes, and I went for no notes because
I'm all shit copied Star Wars. I don't care if the book's written.
This is retroactively stealing from Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm all Des. Jeremy, please explain this crap to me.
This is so because this is not a top-down problem. This is a top problem. This is a fucking bean counter crunching numbers, being like, no, we can't make it too long or we'll lose money. We can't make more than one movie because
we got to come under budget. Well, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make any fucking sense. You just throw it away. I just realized that that's the worm behind you. I didn't realize what it was. I don't know what I thought.
Why do you have a dry vagina winking at me?
What is happening? Jesus Christ.
That is the nastiest whispering I've ever seen.
Hey, whispering eye. He said it. He said it. He said it. I think that is all the notes I have. Oh, apparently Usul had a big one. Worm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on a second. What's up, buddy? Okay, then just lay there and read and just relax. And it might be a little tough for you to go to sleep tonight. But that's, have some water, do some reading. Like, I definitely don't want to, energize you more with a bunch of entertainment. So just, yeah.
Hi. Reading's fun, man. Reading will make you sleepy. I promise.
Justin said reading's fun. It'll make you sleepy. I promise. All right, buddy. I'll be in in a half hour. All right.
Yeah, we're almost done, buddy.
I accidentally dosed my son with caffeine today. Well, I'm recording right now, buddy. I'll tell the people all about it. Yeah, he loves, his favorite drink in the world is shit. No, I can't think of what are they called? Prime. And they have a ton of different flavors. And so I was getting a bunch of stuff. Mom's gone, so we're having a bachelor weekend. So I got a bunch of primes. And I was like, oh, there's some different flavors in the cans. That'll be fun. And then he started drinking the can. I was like, let me see that. And the bottles don't have caffeine in it. So I don't know why the cans are all of a sudden caffeinated. But like, it's like, and it's not like a little bit, it's like energy drink. So he had it, 3 or 4 hours ago.
Poor guy, he looks stressed, like he's gonna be in trouble. It's like, you're not gonna be in trouble. Like, it's not your fault.
Totally.
Just do your best.
Well, and I know it's a little bit the caffeine, but it's also a lot. Like I said, we're kind of on vacation, but we still got to go to school tomorrow. So part of him is just doesn't want to go to bed, and then with a little caffeine to blame it on, he's just like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this. Dad, I can get Dad. I got him.
Yeah, totally.
Mom's not here.
Like, no, you still got to go to bed. We can play a lot of video games until bedtime, but you got to go to bed. I don't even, anyways, he ends up going, meets the Fremen. They find out that these ancient people have been living underground where not with the worms, but on the same planet as the worms. There's this huge, they think that
they find like this like rock outcropping that they live in, that, there's underground water.
Yeah. Well, the Fremen are moisture farmers, so they're sucking the moisture out of the air and keeping it in. Justin is frozen. We'll see if he disappears or if he comes back.
So yeah, I don't know.
I love it when your internet like just won't let you get excited. Like both times you've been dropped have been like, oh my god, and your internet's just like, no, that's too much information.
Sorry, dude, not for you. Keep sucking it, buddy.
He's the Rand of this universe. He's the chosen one that comes down to the Fremen, and so they choose him to lead them into battle, which I don't even really know why. I mean, I guess they're going into battle because people are coming to kill them because they want their planet, because they want their spice or something,
right?
And so I can't believe I can't think of all these fucking main characters. So Kyle MacLachlan's Rand. His signet ring, that's a sawing reel for sure. Yeah. So he mounts one of these worms and turns them into his weapons. And then the movie just skips 2 years. We get a lot of electric guitar. We get a little war montage while Paul Atreides and the Fremen kill people. There's a bunch of stuff going on. There's, like we talked in the beginning, there's a couple houses that are battling. This house is trying to fuck over this house. Everyone knows this house is going to just take the spice, but this house is going to pretend to help them get the spice, but then undercut them or something like that. None of this matters.
Yeah, it was just a lot of butt fucking. I don't even know. I couldn't even keep up with it.
I highly, like I said, it's a long movie, and if you're not into the lore even a little bit, it still might be a rough watch. But especially with Dune 2 out, like I would highly recommend just to watch it after this and go, oh.
Does it make more sense watching?
Absolutely.
It's not just because it's updated technology, and it's
because basically Dune 1 ends when he meets the Fremen. So imagine over 2 hours of everything from the beginning of the movie until the Fremen, and just stretch that out, get rid of the fucking monologue and let people act. And the hand in the box thing, that's in Dune, that's in the new one. Like that's a real, there's a lot that's, like I said, it's a book, and they wanted to do what the book says, but when you try to chop that book down to 215, it's you get this, whatever this is. Oh wow, they're showing, I got on IMDb right now, they're showing showing scenes right now. They're doing dual scenes from the old Dune and scenes from the new Dune, the like almost shot for shots.
There we go.
No video.
It rebooted. It's so good.
Oh, nice. So Paul Atreides is Rand al'Thor. I guess is Matt? No.
Let's say warty face guy is Ishmael.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a crew, so there's really no Patrick Stewart, I think, is Tom Maryland.
I think I have that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that too. Good job. I
Yeah.
have it /Tom Maryland /Obi-Wan.
Min is what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. Sean is it Sean? No, Sean.
Kira.
Sean Young. Yeah. Sean Young, I think is no, not Min. That's
I went Aiel. I went Avienda because I just went out full Aiel for this since we're in the desert.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually have Shani Avienda. His new tribe are the Sand People.
Yes, totally.
Or the Aiel, whatever. We're either in the Aiel Waste or we're on Tatooine. And the weirding way is Jaito or the Jedi Creed.
It's really funny. Like everyone in this movie is just so terrible. I don't want anybody from Wheel of Time to be that.
That was all I really came up with. Oh, dude, did you see that Max von Sydow is in this? Max von Sydow.
Yes. Who was he?
So good. He was a random he was their
Doctor
their
Times.
their guide on the spice planet when the worm comes and eats the whole spice ship or whatever.
This movie was well casted, as you would expect, a David Lynch movie to be. Like, he's great at picking characters. Apparently not a super good script writer, at least not from books.
He's so weird. He just likes to make things gross for fucking no reason. I don't understand it.
We're gonna start why this is one of those movies I could
I gotta mute myself for a minute, dude. So
okay. If Jeremy was here, I feel like we might talk about this movie a little bit more just because he's got experience in it. This is one of those movies you either got to talk about it for 45 minutes or you got to talk about it for 3 hours. And I don't feel like talking about it for 3 hours. It's a movie that had some promise, and the front office just destroyed any of that promise. It's 1984. They were really pushing the special effects as far as they could. So they're not great. They don't all age very well, but I could get over that if the story was fleshed out underneath it, between the ADR and the inner monologue. Once you see a bad CGI explosion, you're just like, I don't care.
yeah, it looks like fucking Space Invaders, dude. It's pretty fucking bad. And it's like one of those things that you had to read the book to even remotely enjoy this. I think probably kind of like Wheel of Time, or maybe not read the book at all and you'd enjoy it more.
Yeah. Either be into the book so you can fill in the blanks, or never touch the book so it can just be a middling TV show, which we've all watched every episode of a middling TV show, so nobody's above that.
We've all wasted some time with some shows we should not have watched.
So if the new Dune doesn't exist, I'd probably bump this up a little bit just for trying. But now that someone has fucking done this right, it just shows how bad this was and how much it is just a bad idea. I'm gonna say reject it. I'm gonna say reject this movie and go watch the new Dune. If you're having some friends over and you're gonna be having a few beers, maybe watch this and then watch My Science Project, and you'll have a really fun night.
Yeah, if you want to play D&D and get stoned and roast this movie, great. But honestly, it's real. I was a hard time. I can watch some bad stuff. And Neverending Story was an infinitely more enjoyable watch for me.
Totally. Yeah.
And some people probably really love Dune and they're just gonna be like, oh man, but I'm just like, dude, it was pretty bad. So
if you didn't watch this movie when you were under 10, there's no way you're still just like, I don't know, maybe teenagers, maybe, if you were going to the...
No, dude, because, it's like you were saying, sorry to cut you off, but it literally, like you were saying, it's in a post-Empire world, this was your best effort. I kept trying to be like, hey, it was 1984, they didn't have that good of effects. It's like, actually, they had better effects than that. And they could have done better with it. And that's the thing. I kept trying to be like, oh, they're trying to do something, this and that, the other thing. It's like, nah. It had been done. There were ways to do it, and they did it poorly. And it wasn't like they were trying to reinvent the wheel. They just did it badly.
And any of the special effects that don't hold up today can be easily glossed over with a good story. You can be like, okay, well, they did a great job for 1984, but they at least told a fucking story that I can follow and that I'm interested in.
Just like Beastmaster.
And it's just
It makes sense that Jeremy didn't find this till a little later because he would have probably forced me to watch it if he did.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was surprised you said you hadn't watched it. Because I was like, how did Jeremy not make you watch this?
His mom's was real strict about movies.
And there apparently is a lot of like, there is a TV cut that they made for this that's a little bit longer. There is
How is it longer? What? Oh my God.
Well, like I said, well, this movie should have been at least 2 movies, if not a trilogy. So, like, to put some of those scenes back in there and make some of the stuff make sense, and fine by me. And some people, so David Lynch apparently has said in the past, "Fuck that! I'm not like this. Like, I don't love this movie, but this is the end of a project." Like, he's the kind of he's not a George Lucas. Like, he's not going to spend the rest of his life updating this movie. He put it in the theaters. He's done with it. But that was many years. Apparently, there's rumors going on that maybe he's kind of like, now that there's enough time passed, maybe he would revisit this and make a new director's cut and put some of those old scenes back in it and see if, he can bring the book to life a little bit more. But, yeah. But there are some, like, there's some fan edits. Like, I don't know if they're on Firemark or not, but there are some fan edits of people who have taken the TV scene, the extra TV scenes, the bonus scenes from DVDs, and really like cut a whole different one that apparently at least makes a little more sense. Like, I don't think, unless you re-record all the dialogue and cut out all the inner monologue, I don't think you can make it good. But, if you're a fan of the book, and you wanted to like this movie, I think some of those extended cuts will make it a little bit better.
I agree. I mean, at least it's an interesting story, but it needs a lot more, like you said, got to be fleshed out more. So I got to give it a.
I mean, even if you chopped and screwed it down to 90 minutes, it might be better just to bang it out.
Yeah, get the gist of it, Like, I gotta give it on the rejected side too, man. I gotta just do it.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end. And let's do a short story time tonight.
Oh, yes.
We're gonna do one in a series of Belizean adventures.
Key Cocker, baby.
So the first time I went to Belize with my wife, was her favorite place in the world. And she was like, we gotta go there. I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. I like to travel. Tropical places are my jam. Let's go. Get down there. First of all, very cool. You get off of the plane, like on the tarmac, and it's just like so hot. You're like, ugh. And then, we get to our hotel, whatever, we get to doing our thing. And we decide next day we're gonna drive to some ruins. And this is 2005, 6-ish. Don't really have, maps on your phone all the time, especially, at this time, Belize is almost third world, at this point, especially once you get out of the main city areas. It's like, it's pretty rural. And so, you're lucky to get any kind of a phone signal if your phone worked there, much less, Google Maps. It wasn't happening then. So, I got a tourist map and decided, we'll drive out there. And we get about an hour and a half into it, and there's just dirt roads. And there's no signs. And, I'm just like, I didn't drink back then, but, when in Rome, right? We're in fucking Belize. I'm drinking rum. I managed to score some weed at the first town that we stayed at. Shocker. And, I'm smoking weed and we're drinking rum and driving. And I managed to literally, after 2.5, almost 3 hours, get us to this place called Lamini. But by the time I got us there, it's like 3:30-ish.
Do you take a boat to the mainland, or is this before you got to Key Cocker? Did you stay on the mainland for a couple nights?
No, so Key Cocker is just an island. Lamini is on the mainland, and
but what? So you were sleeping on Key Cocker though, and then you went to the mainland for the day?
No, we hadn't got to Key Cocker yet.
Okay,
we spent like 2-3 days on the mainland, just kind of like checking out one place. And we were like, we're going to go to the ruins today. And literally by the time we got to our hotel that night, it was like 8:00. And, like, you're not supposed to really drive after dark there if you're a tourist. I'm like, fucking whatever. I'm too stupid to be scared. So, we finally get out to Lamini to check out, one of probably the second biggest ruins in Belize. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. We got there at like 3:30 on like, like a Monday or a Friday or something like that. It was like, everybody's gone. The tourist groups are gone. They're cleaning up. There's a couple of groundskeepers, like, weed eating cleaning up, picking stuff up. The gift shop's closing up, and we pull up and we just start walking around. There's nobody there. So like, hey, he's like, well, I've been here before. Let's go over here, and there's a path. And so we start walking around, and we go up on one of the ruins and smoke a joint, and we're sitting there, and we go check everything out, and we decide, oh, it's getting dark. We better start trying. We got another hour or so drive at least, and assuming I don't get lost, but probably more like 2 hours. 2.5 hours to get where we're going. So like, we better get going. We start hearing these noises. It's my first time in Belize. I didn't do any research, before I went there, like, what's going on? And these noises are like, oh, and we're like, Lisa's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. And I mean, it's getting louder, and there's more than one. And pretty soon we can't see anything. We just know there's like at least like 3 or 4 of these things like yelling, and we start seeing the trees shaking, and we start looking, and the trees that are shaking, and it's like a little group of trees, and it's going nuts, and it's in between us and the car. One of the first things I bought was a machete. Did I have it with me? No. So we're walking back, and Lisa's like, I don't want to go. I do not want to go. And I'm like, well, that's where the car is. So that's the closest thing to safety. If it's some sort of a big cat, we need to get the fuck out of here. So we're just kind of like shitting ourselves, walking back to the car, and we start getting a little closer. And there's like 7 to 10 juvenile howler monkeys, basically just not above our car, but almost. And they're, I don't know, they're not fighting, they're just fucking being teenagers. They're loud, and they're shaking the trees, and they're chasing each other around, and they're yelling at each other, and that's what the noise was. But it's like, I didn't know what it was, and she was just like, oh fuck, it's getting dark. I'm like, we gotta go.
Holy shit.
And that's just one of our quick little adventures in Belize for a quick little story time with that.
I never think I have a story, and then Fatty tells one. And Kelly and I are camping. We don't camp a lot, but we always think we're going to camp more. We decided to go camp. We're just going car camping. We don't do it a lot. We're not going to hike all our shit in and get lost. So
right,
we're car camping. We get there late. We set up our tent. You
guys got a spot where you park your car, got a fucking picnic bench and a fire pit,
Exactly. And 2 more cars.
Easy peasy.
You can see, 10 other cars where you are. So we're in our tent, and I've been camping a lot. I grew up in Montana. I went camping, fishing. I've stayed outside a lot. I've been around a lot of critters. I've been woken up by animals. I've been scared, all that stuff.
You're an animal guy, so
I hear this like a fucking, like, at best it's a moose, at worst it's a bear. Like, whatever it is, like, you have to be big to make that noise. Like, there's just certain volumes and pitches that you can only reach if you have a huge fucking head. So Kelly and I are just like, holy shit, do you fucking hear that? She's like, yeah, I fucking hear that. She's like, I'm like, holy fuck, like, we gotta run. Like, if that thing tramples our tent, like, we're just gonna fucking die here without even trying. Like, we gotta. So I think it's an agreed upon thing that we're gonna run for the car. We're gonna unzip this tent, and we're gonna run for our fucking lives. So we unzip the tent, and I run for my fucking life, and I get to the car, and I turn around, and Kelly's sitting in the tent looking at me like, what the fuck? You're just going to leave me here to die? I'm like, what the fuck? Are you just going to stay there and die? Like, I wasn't going to carry you. Like, let's go. And she's like, and so I'm turning around. Like,
better hop to it, princess. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. I'm like, do I need to run back into the fray and pull her out? And that's when I see that there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And she starts looking around. I said, it was like 2 or 3 raccoons. And so she's laughing her ass.
Raccoons make scary noises, bro.
I had no idea raccoons could sound like a fucking
velociraptor. They sound like
an elephant. Yeah, totally. Fucking raccoons. They look like little thieves. They
actually, God, little bandits. Dude, that's funny. You just reminded me of 2 short stories, and I might as well share them because I'm not going to share them anywhere else. Tony, you remember he used to live with his aunt. Do you remember the time he's like, bro, he started calling me. He's like, I went home, and he's like, this raccoon tries to come in my cat door, and I like shove it out with my foot and then walk outside. And he's like, there's like 9 other raccoons, and they all just stand up and start hissing at me. There's one in the trees. He's like, what the fuck is this shit? Raccoon Gang? Jesus.
I vaguely remember that.
I'm like, oh my God. And then one time, Lisa and I, we went car camping. We were car camping and like, we're restaurant people. So we went after like a busy holiday weekend. We get, there on like Monday afternoon and there's nobody there. We're the only people there. It's late. We light a fire, start kind of like screwing around and start getting down over the park bench. And wake up the next morning and realize there's someone parked right next to us to the tree. He's like, morning. We're like, fucking high.
Oh.
And with that, the worm has turned.
If you want to see the tape, folks, check out our $20 Patreon level.
We call that the velvet rope area.
That's our fans only level. you get boobs and my feet.
All the ASMR.
Gotta go up to the top, won't stop. I'm gonna be the man, yeah, I gotta cut a knot. Really haters really on me, tryna take my spot. But we go up, yeah, we never gonna drop.
Einhorn and Finkel. Finkel and Einhorn. Winner.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.
You guys are so